All right, let's dive in. Next.js 16 is here, and trust me, it is a big one. We're talking about some pretty fundamental changes to things like caching, performance, and just the whole developer experience. So we're going to break down everything you really need to know.
Because, with any massive framework release, it is super easy to feel, well, a little lost. So, hi, and welcome to Confusion 404. We're here to help you make sense of all this stuff.
So, are you feeling a little overwhelmed by all the announcements? Don't worry, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to cut right through the noise and get to what really matters. What these changes actually mean for you, for your projects, and for your day-to-day coding.
Okay, here's the plan. We're going to kick things off with the big one, cache components. Then we'll get into the awesome developer experience upgrades, check out some key architectural changes, and wrap it all up with a super practical guide on how to upgrade and deal with any breaking changes. Sound good?
All right, first up, introducing cache components. And let me be clear, this isn't just some new API to learn. No, this is a pretty fundamental shift in how Next.js even thinks about caching. The main takeaway? It gives you, the developer, way more explicit control.
So to really get a grip on cache components, we got to talk about partial pre-rendering, or PPR, for a second. Remember this? It's that awesome ability to serve a super fast static shell of a page and then just stream in all the dynamic parts. Well, cache components, they're basically the final piece of that puzzle. They're what makes PPR truly powerful.
This is a huge change in philosophy. In the old days, right, the app router was pretty aggressive. It cached everything by default. Now, it's the complete opposite. Caching is now totally opt-in. By default, everything is dynamic, which honestly makes things way more predictable. You're in the driver's seat now, telling Next.js exactly what to cache and when.
And getting started with this is, well, it's about as simple as it gets. You just pop into your next.config.ts file and you add this one line, cache components true. That's it. You're now opted into the new caching model.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about something we all care about, the developer experience. Because Next.js 16 isn't just about these big new ideas. It's also about making our actual day-to-day work a whole lot faster and, frankly, smarter. First off, Turbopack is now the default bundler, and the performance gain here is just massive. We're talking a 10 times faster fast refresh. That means when you save a file, your changes pop up in the browser almost instantly. No more waiting around.
And it's not just for when you're coding locally. Your production builds get a serious speed boost too. Anywhere from 2 to 5 times faster. For those of you working on bigger apps, this is a total game changer for your CI/CD pipelines.
Okay, this next one is kind of like magic. The React compiler is now stable. Think of it like an automatic performance engineer built right in. It scans your code and automatically memoizes your components to stop all those unnecessary re-renders. And the best part? You don't have to write a single line of use memo or use callback. You just turn it on in your config, and boom, your app is faster.
The dev tools are also getting a really cool AI upgrade. It's built on something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. What that really means is that it gives AI agents a deep understanding of your application. Like it knows about Next.js routing, it can see both your browser and server logs together, and it even knows which page you're currently looking at. This is going to open the door for some seriously powerful AI-assisted debugging.
All right, let's switch gears a bit and talk about some of the key architectural shifts. These are some important changes to the very foundation of the framework that you're definitely going to want to know about.
So first up, middleware is now called proxy. It's a pretty straightforward change. You just rename middleware.ts to proxy.ts and change your exported function from middleware to proxy. The logic inside stays exactly the same. So why the change? Well, it just makes its purpose a lot clearer. This code runs right at the network edge, and the new name reflects that, plus it confirms it'll always use the Node.js runtime.
The revalidate tag API has a small but important update. It now needs a second argument that controls its stale while revalidate behavior. So for example, you can pass in a string like max, which tells Next.js to serve the old stale content immediately while it fetches the fresh data in the background. It just makes your revalidation strategy much more explicit.
Now, what if you need instant consistency? For that, there's a brand new API called update tag. And this one only works in server actions. Imagine a user submits a form. You can call update tag, and it does two things. It expires the cache and immediately fetches the fresh data, all in the same request. This means the user sees their update right away. It's perfect for those read-your-write situations. And then there's refresh.
This is also a server action-only API, but its job is super specific. It only refreshes the uncached data on a page. Your main data cache? It doesn't touch it at all. A good example might be if you want to update a little notification counter in the header after a user does something without refetching all the main content.
Okay, we've talked about all the cool new features. Now for the really practical part. What do you absolutely need to know before you go and run npm install for Next.js 16?
There are a few critical breaking changes you gotta be aware of. First, you need to be on Node.js version 20.9.0 or higher. But the biggest one, the one that's probably going to affect your code the most, is that accessing params, cookies, and headers at desynchronous is now asynchronous. That means you have to wait them now. This is a pretty fundamental change to how you'll write your server components.
A few features have also been removed entirely. So full AMP support, that's gone. The next link command is also gone. You'll just run ESLint directly now. And those old runtime config properties and the experimental.ppr flag, yeah, those are gone too, replaced by the new systems we just talked about.
But here's the good news. The Next.js team has a code mod that can help automate a ton of this upgrade process. You can just run this one single command in your terminal, and it'll take care of a lot of these changes for you. This is definitely the best place to start when you're ready to migrate.
So that's our whirlwind tour of Next.js 16. What we've got is a much more explicit and powerful caching model, a seriously faster toolkit for us developers, and a really clear path forward. The only question left is, with all these new tools in your hands, what are you going to build next?